Just imagine you didn't know this. And do you know what? Everyone says just drill a borehole and your water issues are over. No, not exactly. Here's what people don't tell you about borehole. So in this episode, you're going to be tackling about 10 misconceptions about boreholes, and I'm going to take you through. But first thing we need to understand is you need to know what is a borehole. I'm going to read to you a definition of a borehole, exact definition how a borehole is defined. So I'm going to read it to you. A borehole is a narrow vertical shaft drilled into the earth to access groundwater from subsurface aquifers, providing a reliable source of drinking and agricultural water. Unlike traditional wells, note that unlike traditional wells, boreholes are deeper and are drilled using specialized machines like a drilling rig that penetrate further into the water table, allowing the use of steel, that is the casing, or plastic casings to prevent collapse and contamination. So I want you to note one thing: it is deep, it is drilled with a specialized machine, and the aim is to tap deep aquifers for longevity. So that's not your normal well, that's not an hand dug well, this is a borehole. So point number one about the misconceptions that people mostly think about boreholes, but they are truly wrong. So most people will say all boreholes provide clean and safe water. The misconception about that is borehole water is naturally pure and safe to drink. But on the reality is groundwater can contain contaminants like iron, manganese, arsenic, or even bacteria. So you need to test your water before filtration. So that misconception about all borehole water is clean and safe. No, the reality is you need sometimes to test the, not sometimes, you need always to test the water and make sure you know what is exactly in the water, so that you know, am I treating the water? Is it filtration? Is it reverse osmosis? There are so many and wide range of treatments. So that is misconception one. And before you go on, kindly guys remember to subscribe, like, and comment to Project Explained for more videos. So misconception number two that people usually don't know about boreholes and they think about is they think boreholes provide unlimited water. No. The misconception about this is once you drill a borehole, you'll always have endless water forever, all unlimited supply. No, the reality of the matter is aquifers can dry up. Do you know that, guys? An aquifer can dry up and become depleted if overused. So what you need to do is you need to do sustainable usage and regular maintenance for your borehole, so that you do not have abstract, so that you do not deplete your aquifer. You drill a borehole a certain depth, and maybe the water levels of that area goes down, your borehole runs dry. We have so many cases in Nairobi, in Kenya, where boreholes have run dry, and it has nothing to do with the client. It is just have to do with the groundwater potential, such that the water levels have shifted and it is gone. So misconception number two: boreholes kindly do not provide unlimited water, but with good survey they can, but not always. So misconception number three, I have some of my notes here, is you can drill at any spot. No, that is not true. So the misconception about it is you can drill a borehole anywhere and find water. No. That is very wrong. That's why you need to do adequate survey. So the reality about this misconception is a successful drilled borehole depends on geological conditions. It depends with geological conditions. That is, a geological survey is a very critical exercise in borehole drilling. So you need to have an experienced hydrogeologist who will come in your farm and make sure you get a good case study for your land, so that you can be able to get the exact point. So that misconception about you can drill anywhere, that is not true. You cannot drill anywhere. You need to conduct a survey. Yes, and misconception number four is boreholes do not require maintenance. Hey, who said that? If you go to an office somewhere and a driller tells you, I'll drill for you a borehole and you'll never require maintenance, kindly run. Run for your hills, because that misconception that that once installed a borehole, the maintenance is free. No, 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 no. The reality about this is borehole needs periodic maintenance, and that is case scenario that pumps do wear out. Casings can corrode depending on the water quality, and the balls can also get clogged and silted, or even you can get a damage on your casing. So you have to maintain your ball because your pump can wear out. That is point number one. Your casings can corrode depending on the water quality, and your ball can get clogged or silted. So regular maintenance should be done for boreholes. So I think we've covered 4 points now. Now we go to point number 5, which is a misconception number 5 about boreholes is boreholes are always cheaper than municipal water. I don't think so. But let's see. The misconception about this is having a borehole is always more cost effective than relying on public supply. No. The reality is the initial drilling cost is very high. The initial drilling cost is very high. You need to cater for pump installation, and the maintenance of the borehole is also very expensive. So over time, it may seem like it's a cheaper option, but not always. So the initial investment is very high, unlike the municipal council water. So if you have a reliable municipal council water is just for domestic, I'm not discouraging a borehole. I'm just saying weigh your options and see which comes out right and which saves you money, because the essence of life and in businesses, you save money to do something that is more profitable, something that will help you in future. So that misconception about boreholes are always cheaper than municipal water, no. But when it comes to farming, the longevity, only the long term, yeah, the borehole should be cheaper because the initial investment is high, but in long term, because you're doing agriculture and you need high demands of water or commercial buildings, a borehole will be cheaper in a way, but not the initial cost is not cheap. So let's go to misconception number 6, which says, and which people think that is normal, that deep boreholes mean better water. In some case, yes. In some case, no. So the misconception about this is the deeper the borehole, the better the water quality. Personally, I can say that's not true. But some people think it's true, but in reality, the deeper isn't always better. In reality, the deeper isn't always better because water quality varies by the geologic and not just depth. It's mainly the geology of the area, not just depth. So a shallow aquifer may be cleaner or more productive depending on where you are drilling. There are some instances where you drill a borehole very deep and you get very salty water. Actually, there are some places that you are advised to not go beyond this depth, because once you go beyond that depth, you'll get salty water or water with fluoride or water with sodium. So it all depends. So what I will tell you is get from the point that we said you do not drill anywhere where we get a hydrogeologist, and from the case study of the area, he is able to advise on the depth, because you'll have to check the water quality of the surrounding boreholes, and you will be able to advise on where and the maximum you can go, because there's some depths you can go and you can get saline water, or even there's some depth you can go shallow enough to get enough water, or there's some depths you can go shallow and get very bad water. So it all depends with the geology of the area, and it is not always guaranteed that whenever you go deeper you get cleaner water. That is a misconception that you need to know. It's not the truth. So I think we are learning something, and if this is kind of your content, kindly guys support the channel. We need to learn. This is Project Explain. This is where we explain things that people don't explain to you. So I'm your guy, and I'll always be explaining to you things about boreholes and other things. So because this is a borehole series, I want to cover everything about boreholes, and I thought it is good enough to demystify the things that people think are normal, but they are not normal. You need to look at them in a different angle. So point number 7, which is a misconception also, is you don't need a permit to drill a borehole. Whoever lied to you about that, wants you to get arrested and wants you to sink your money and your borehole to be illegal. Especially in Kenya, in perspective of Kenya, all boreholes are registered. So that misconception about you can drill a borehole on your property without regulation. No, you cannot drill a borehole in Kenya without regulation, or I don't think, not even in Kenya, anywhere in the world, I'm not very sure, but that misconception of you can drill a borehole on your property without documentation or regulation, I think it's not true, because the reality of the matter is many countries or local authorities require permits, environmental assessments, and regulations for borehole. Now let's talk about Kenya. Kenya, you will need an authorization from Water Resource Authority, from Water Resource Users Association. You also need a consent to drill from a county. Some do charge. You also need a no objection from water service providers. You'll also need to do EIA, or an environmental impact assessment. So there's a lot of things you need to do for a borehole. So it's not just a hole that you just bring a machine and drill. So if somebody tells you, a drill tells you, I'll just pass by and drill for you, you'll have an illegal borehole. So one day, WRA or the Water Resource Authority are going to close that borehole, and it will be an illegal borehole, or they will charge you a lot of money to regularize that borehole. So that misconception of you do not need permits to drill, that's not true. The reality is many countries or local authorities require permits, environmental assessments, or regulations to have your borehole registered in their records. Yeah, because it's a natural resource, it needs to be documented. Then another misconception that people usually have about boreholes is you can use borehole without any treatment. There's a point we talked of the misconception of people think borehole water is always clean. No. In this part where you talk of you can use borehole without any treatment, the misconception about it is water from a borehole can be used straight from the pump. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. It can, depending on the quality. So the reality of the matter is, depending on the intended use, let's say it's for drinking, treatments such as filtration and or disinfection may be necessary depending on the water quality that you get. So point to note is the water quality of your borehole that is done after test pumping will guide you on the use and the treatment. There are some you can be lucky and it is pure clean, it is good for drinking, and it passes all KEBS regulations, so you're good to go. But if your water quality analysis does not allow you, kindly do treat your water. So that misconception of you can use borehole water without treatment, it is neither here nor there, but it needs to be reconfirmed by testing your water. So another misconception that people always, and this is very common, that a borehole driller, no, not her, all borehole drillers are qualified. My friend, we have briefcase people, we have people who impersonate, we have people who will talk to you very well and tell you they do drill, but you'll get a shock once you engage them. So the misconception about this is any driller can do a good job. No. The reality is unqualified or inexperienced drillers use pure techniques during drilling that may result in even collapsing your borehole when they are drilling, and that's a huge loss. They can even do poor borehole construction and you end up with very poor yields, and they can actually do bad construction and you get contamination in your water, because what is called a borehole construction is the steps that you do follow when a driller is constructing your borehole. All the required things: where to place a screen, where to place a plane, what size of gravel to be used, when to block some aquifers, when to seal your borehole, where to seal your borehole, all that stuff, and how to, when they are drilling, how to stabilize the borehole when they are drilling. Let's say it's collapsing, there is a way you can stabilize it. So if you get unqualified and professional people, they'll just come with a machine there and do crazy work, and your money will be waste and you'll be left crying. So that is misconception of about all borehole drillers are qualified. To me, no, not everyone. You need to do your due diligence very well. Due diligence very well. Get referrals. Do your due diligence. The word is due diligence, and make sure you get the right person for the job. So the last and not the least, misconception number 10. This is a misconception. This is what people think mostly. People think boreholes are only for rural areas. Is that true? Did you think about that? That since you see boreholes are being drilled in places that are dry, people are doing farming, that you think now all boreholes should be done or are done in rural areas. No, that misconception of boreholes are a rural solution. No, not suitable for urban areas. No, that is not true. The reality of the matter is boreholes are widely used in urban environment for industrial, agriculture, and even residential homes, and especially where municipal supply is unreliable. So let's say you're in a place there, your municipal water service provider does not give you adequate or enough water, then what is the alternative? The alternative is a borehole. So that misconception of that boreholes are only drilled in rural areas, you do not need boreholes where in the capital, in the city. No, you may build a block of flats and your municipal water is not enough to service your plots. What do? The alternative is borehole drilling. And one thing I'd actually like to advise, now this is not a misconception, if you are a developer, this is comes for developers. So guys, if you have a tight plot and you want to build beacon to beacon, what you need to start with is a borehole, because once you drill a borehole, once you start building before having a borehole, you'll find your plot is very tight and the machine will not be enough. So you need to start with a borehole, create a good space for the access, then you shall have your borehole running and servicing will be okay. So guys, that's it, and that has been the 10 points of our misconceptions about boreholes. If you've learned something, kindly do support the channel and let me know what you think from the comment section. And that's it. Devi, your guy, your borehole guy, and we'll do more stuff about this. So guys, ciao. Remember to subscribe. Love you guys.